21 degrees at 4 minutes after the hour, and Carolyn Pitman joins us this morning from Resources for Women here in the city. And Carolyn, good morning to you on a brisk Friday morning.
Yeah, very brisk, I'd say.
Tell us what's going on over at Resources for Women. I know you've got a big event coming up tomorrow.
We have a very big event coming up tomorrow. We have our walk, our annual walk. It's going to be at Bluebell Park. It's going to start there, and it starts at 9 o'clock, but registration starts at about 8:30, 8 o'clock. We will be there at 7:30 to set up. And if you sign up today, you can sign up for $20. If you wait until tomorrow, it's going to be $25.
Okay, and it's a fundraiser for Resources for Women.
Yes, it's a fundraiser. We have 3 fundraisers a year. And we have a walk, we have a yard sale, which is coming up next month, and we have our banquet in October.
Tell us a little bit this morning about Resources for Women and what is the purpose of it.
The purpose of Resources for Women is to help young ladies who may find themselves in a situation where they are pregnant and not married and really have a lot of questions, and they need to make some serious decisions. So we're there as their advocate, just to come alongside them and help them make a decision in regard as to what they need to do. So we do have an ad or a big banner in front of our place that says free pregnancy test here. So they come in for the free pregnancy test, and depending on which way it goes, that's how we work with them or counsel them. Actually, we're peer counselors. And we guide them in the way that we just give them information. We give them current, correct information that tells them what's available, what's out there, and how we may be of some assistance to them. We are a ministry, so we come from a biblical point of view, so a lot that we present is from a spiritual aspect.
Now, Resources for Women is not a new kid on the block. It's been around a while.
Yes, Resources for Women has been here since June of '02, and I was the first director for the first 6 years. And then we had another director for about 6.5 years, and she just resigned in November. So I'm back at the helm again.
She's back.
She's back. That's me. So we are actively looking for another director. We've had several women sign up, and we are in the process of seeking and interviewing women for that position.
Carolyn Pitman, our guest this morning from Resources for Women. Upcoming event tomorrow is the Walk for Life and the 5K run. Registration starts at 8:30, and the walk and run begins at 9 over at Bluebell Park. And talking about choices, you put the information out there for the young ladies. Are you seeing an increase in young ladies that come through your door, or how effective has this been?
We think it's been very effective. One thing for sure, the girls get information they otherwise might not have gotten. They also know when they come in that they are whatever they're learning and doing and talking about is confidential. It does not leave that office. That's very important to these girls, because some of them are in situations they don't want the world to know that they're there even. So they are very comfortable.
And it's very important that you hold that confidence.
Yes, because once you lose that, then you will lose the center. So they know that anything they say is confidential. And another way we express it is such as if we see one of the clients in, let's say, Walmart a week or 2 later, and of course we're going to recognize her, we are not the first ones to recognize her. We'll walk right by her. And I explain that to them to let them realize that I'm not being unkind or hateful. It's that you may be with your mother.
Sure.
She may know who I am and where I am. And if I say hi to you, she's going to say, how do you know her? So if you want to speak to me, then I will respond. But we try to maintain that confidentiality to the point that we will not acknowledge them in public unless they acknowledge us first.
With these young ladies, what all do you share with them? What are some of the things that you share with them about, being a mother or, making the right choices?
If they make the choice to give their baby life, we tell them about our Earn While You Learn classes. Our Earn While You Learn classes is prenatal, parenting, and small group. The small group is actually like a Bible study, but it's not a Bible study as you and I would understand a Bible study. This is where we make Christ applicable in your life. And the girls really seem to respond to that. Not only can the girls come to these classes, but the fathers of the babies can come. And that
Did they come?
A lot of them come. You'd be surprised. Our classes are growing. We can have, some days we'll have 2 or 1 couple, or we can have 20 packed in that room. It's unbelievable. And the other thing that we do to help them or encourage them to go that way is that we have what we call a baby boutique. So there's a lot of donated items, mostly by churches. They do baby showers kind of thing. And we have the baby boutique full of clothing and even some furniture, whatever people want to donate. So when these girls go to classes, they get what we call baby bucks. So does the father of the baby. So then they take those baby bucks after class and go into the boutique and shop for the baby. So that's that positive side. We have to realize when they come into that room, they know they have three choices: abortion, adoption, or self-parent. And the scenario I was just talking about is self-parent. Then there's adoption, which is very difficult for girls to understand. They have a hard time with that. Unfortunately, our society, most of the girls would rather abort than adopt. And that's a hard...
Why is that?
You know, I really don't know why that is. The comment usually is, and I hate to say it, but even among churches, oh, she gave her baby up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she gave it life. Mm-hmm. So what I try to explain to the girls when I'm given the opportunity is no different than what Christ did for us. When we accepted him as our Savior, he adopted us. Old Testament laws about adoption, that bond between those parents and that adopted child is stronger than the natural birth child. So God looks very, very kindly upon adoption. So this is one thing I'd like to see churches even encourage, so that even churches would have a better positive attitude towards adoption. Adoption is the most unselfish decision a girl can make. I'd rather see that than the child be born and be brought up in such horrible poverty, or with a mother with poor skills. And this is why we have the Earn While You Learn classes, so that she can get those skills. So it's prenatal, which is how do you take care of yourself while you're pregnant, and parenting skills. Like, how do you pick a good babysitter? When is it time to call the doctor? How do I take the temperature of the baby? Mm-hmm. How do I find, someone that's very reliable to help me? You know, that kind of thing. Because some of these girls don't have a mom or a grandma or someone like that to help them. Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised, just in Sylacauga, how many girls are in very bad situations.
A word that we don't like to hear or talk about is abortion, but that's the third choice there. Mm-hmm.
And all we do with that is, usually the first thing we say is, because if they're talking about it, we'll say, have you ever had one? Well, if they haven't, then you really have a lot of information. You must honestly give her the most current and accurate information out there, and that we do have.
This is factual information. It's not hearsay. And
right, yeah, they get actual pictures and pamphlets, but we don't do the gory pictures. Right. We don't do what used to be done when you had all these protests and so on, of all the babies in the buckets and this or that. We don't do that. We don't actually show her an abortion. We have those things available for educational purposes for adults or people who are going to be counselors, but we do not use those threatening tactics to scare the girl. That's not what Jesus would do. So you don't do it that way. But we just tell her, of course, it is ending the life, and the procedures that are done at what time of gestation, so that she will know what actually is happening to her. Then we also now have to explain the abortive fashions, the medications that are out there, because you can have an abortion through medications, and that's also dangerous.
The young ladies that come to Resources for Women for help and education, how old are they?
Well, just 2 weeks ago I had one that was 12.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Carolyn Pitman.
Yes, sir. And you can't.
That's shocking.
It hurt me. You almost want to cry. I just really had a hard time with that one, and I had a hard time working with her mom, because...
I mean, that's a child.
That is definitely a child. Because I'm thinking of my two granddaughters, one's 16 and one's 12, and I'm thinking, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. But the girl was very sweet, very open. Of course, they come back by themselves. We don't let someone else come back with them, because that way they feel much more free to be honest and tell you the truth and tell you everything they need to tell you, so that you can help them. If you don't know where they are, you can't help them. And we've had them as old as 44.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Carolyn Pitman, our guest from Resources for Women. The Walk for Life and 5K run is tomorrow at Bluebell Park. Registration, late registration at 8:30. The walk and run begins at 9. And it's going to be a beautiful day, sunshine tomorrow. And so put a spring in your step tomorrow morning.
Yes, yeah, much better than today.
Talk about, some people say, well, Resources for Women. I've seen that. I've heard about it. But where is it now?
I always say it's across from KFC. Everybody can relate to a food place. But it is on 21 across from KFC in that Marble City Plaza. We are the office furthest to the left as you are looking at the shopping center. Dollar General's on the right side, we're on the left end. We're right next to Mount Vernon Baptist Church.
You mentioned in this conversation, in this interview, churches a number of times. Churches are important, and as churches, sometimes we may not show as much love as we want people to think we're showing. Yeah, it's difficult to get into churches. I would love to be able for us to get into a church, at least one church, every month for the next 2 years. Do we just not want to talk about this, or?
It's hard to get through to the pastor sometimes too, and I think unfortunately, I know because I talked to one pastor about this, he says one reason you can't get into the churches, Carolyn, is that if they don't know you, they're looking at, oh no, somebody else wants money and we can barely make it now with our little church. And I can understand that. But a lot of what we need is not so much money as your time, your prayers, volunteers. We need volunteers. I would love to have RNs come and volunteer to learn how to do sonograms. Everything, what I call the grunt work for a 501c3 organization has to be done by volunteers. The only person that is paid is the person who keeps it all organized, and of course that's the director. Everybody else is volunteers. So we need RNs and LPNs can do sonograms. We need an RN, to take over the position of being the nurse manager. But LPNs, because I talked to someone in Montgomery and I found out LPNs are allowed to do sonograms. So if there's LPNs out there that would like to consider working with our ministry, please think of us. Think of us and come over and talk to us, because we would love to train you and have you help us do sonograms. Right now we're only open 3 days a week. When we get our new director, we want to be open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday as usual, and then stretch our hours 9 to 5 as they had been. They're a little less right now just because of transition, but the transition is working very well. The Lord's been opening doors so fast we almost can't keep up.
Carolyn, what about the parents of these young ladies and even children and their grandparents? Do they get involved in the process?
The parents might. Once in a while, like this 12-year-old, her mother did come, and we've had a couple others that were that young, and mother will come, and usually they're very upset and they're difficult to work with. Rarely do we see the daddy. In fact, I don't remember ever seeing the daddy of a young girl that came in. You'll see the boyfriend.
Now there's a statement being made right there.
There is a statement being made right there. Thank you. And that's embarrassing to our community that fathers don't see the responsibility, the concern. And so, I mean, some of these young gals will tell you they don't know their dad, or they don't like their dad is not in their life at all. Many of these girls do not have a good male model in their life. So, you know, you look at their whole lifestyle, and sure, they're going to look to a guy to fulfill some of their needs that they have not been met by daddy. So that is something that's embarrassing. I would like to see churches, pastors, get more involved with talking about marriage, the sanctity of marriage, the importance of marriage. And we would like to, in the future, start a men mentoring program. If there's any male out there that would like to do that, we would appreciate it. To have a group so that we can have young men come together, learn to be a man. Get, your character is, your strength is in your character as a man. But we aren't teaching young men that today. Our world is just so lopsided in comparison to what it was in my day.
Carolyn Pitman, Resources for Women, our guest this morning. And the Walk for Life and 5K run is tomorrow at Bluebell Park. And late registration at 8:30. The walk and run begins at 9. And $20 if you do that today, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And $25 tomorrow, so let's be a part of that if we possibly can. A lot of information available through Resources for Women. Is there a telephone number or website or email address that they can get to you guys?
Well, our email is, I have to look it up, resourcesforwomen@gmail.com. That's our email. Now, if you want to sign up today, you might want to call me on my cell phone because we're not open today per se. We're at the office, though, later, getting things ready for tomorrow. But my cell is 256-208-5231. So go ahead and give me a call, and then we can get you lined up for tomorrow for $20.
If you'd like to be a volunteer for
Please.
Resources for Women, we certainly want to encourage you as church leaders or as moms or dads and grandparents, plug into this. A very worthwhile cause, Resources for Women. Carolyn, always a pleasure to have you with us, and good luck with the walk run tomorrow, and continued success with Resources for Women.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You got 30 seconds to close. What do you want to say?
256-208-8888, and we're open now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 to 4.
More on Daybreak coming up in a minute.